Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Broken Realms Teclis, the latest of the campaign books set in Warhammer Age of Sigmar by Games Workshop. Now this book is two things. One, it is a campaign book with some narratively driven stories in 3 acts, basically charting the course of a war between the forces of death, the forces of life, and kind of thrown in the middle like a bit is the forces of chaos. So the Cole's Notes version, because there's a lot of background in here. The book has a complete run of 152 pages. 66 of them are actually the 3 acts of this big story here. War of Empires, War of Mortox, and Clash of Gods. And I'm not going to go all the way through, but they go so far as to even put in like a dramatis personae, so you know who all these people are they're referring to from the different books. And it tells the story of basically the Cole's Notes version of the elves taking back the sort of like territory, or attacking back the forces of Nagash after the Necroquake. Nagash's subsequent counterattacks. So first Teclis and the Teclian Vanguard go and they invade and they attack the Ossiarch Empire, which is what the Ossiarch Bonereapers have created. And it's interesting because as these books have come out, you think of the Bonereapers as being this new faction that's just awoken and stuff, but it's been like a while. It's been years since they've taken over this area, and the elves have marshaled out now with Teclis to go and fight them. And then after that takes place, the second act is they fight back. The Mortarchs get sent to go and try and attack Hysh, and so now they're on the defense. Tyrion and Teclis are fighting against the Mortarchs. And then finally through the Clash of Gods, you've got Archaon going and trying to free Slaanesh, which of course has already happened now. And the Elven Gods just disappear. Teclis races off to try and stop that from happening. And Tyrion is just gone on some kind of quest. No one even knows where he is. And that's where one of the new characters, this fellow Illyrio Othrel, the Warden of the Metrica, he basically takes charge of all the elves because the elf gods just like take off at their like basically final big clash against the undead. So that's the first 66 pages of here. There's a big background basically shifts on what's been going on with the elves, what's been going on with Teclis, and how that fits into the Necroquake, the big war against the Force of Death. And the big gambit that Archaon's playing, trying to free the 4th Chaos God. So, are you keeping up? Are you with me? That's the story stuff here. We've then got a huge campaign, the Broken Realms campaign, with some new campaign rules, Streets of Death, some new additional rules for using like buildings and stuff. And then a series of different like realm rules. So, Praetorius of Shish, Invidia and Guerrilla, and Metrica and Hysh. So 3 sort of like sub-regions of those realms. So we have generic realm rules right now for those realms. You get the sub-rules too. And then you get 6 battle plans for playing through the major parts of these 3 act stories, right? So the 3 sort of settings of what's going on with the elves. We got some Battletome updates, the Maggotkin of Nurgle, the Cities of Sigmar and Death. And then all of the new stuff that was added to the Realm Lords Battletome is in here. So this is half a Battletome. So if you have the old Lumineth Realm Lords Battletome that came with that nice starter set with a few models and stuff in it and the dice and stuff, you just need this book to update your Battletome. The new Battletome is basically for existing elf players, so I'm not going to go through this, that section of this book, mostly because, well, I don't need to, because I've done a separate review, which you can go up to the cards and watch, of that new Battletome. So if you're looking for the new elf stuff, I'm just focusing on the rules for the Maggotkin, the Cities of Sigmar, and Death in this, and you should jump over to the other video right now to talk about that. So this is a huge amount of background of what's going on with the elves, so you do get some different stuff. If you're a Lumineth Realm Lord player, you might want to get this book just for the story, because like I said, it's a lot. Like, it is a comprehensive history, basically, of what's been going on, fighting the Ossiarch Empire, going to war against them, then having them fight back in Act 2, the Mortarchs. All the Mortarchs have to go and invade a different spot, and it gives their history, and they also rile up in Garan, the Maggotkin of Nurgle. This is not a little bit of background. This is no 40k codex updating like 6 different Space Marine chapters, and there's like 5 pages of like actual like fluff. This is a whole, there's maps, there's new miniatures, there's like all kinds of stuff in here. Nice big like color section, stuff in the new Cities of Sigmar stuff. And like I said, we're going to 66 pages of background. All about that new stuff, including stuff about Ilariel and the other factions too. So it's neat. So let's jump into the rules. So what do we got? The Broken Realms campaign. So this is the new realms and the order to play these things in. Now this is one of those bespoke campaigns though, so it does require you to have very specific armies. because the armies themselves are dictated by the mission. So if you want to be playing, you have to be playing Death and Order. Specifically, Death is like a bunch of different armies, and then for Order, you need to be playing a bunch of different Order armies too. So the first one, Storm of Geist, you have to be playing a Cities of Sigmar Settlers Gain army. Then you have to be playing a Realm Lords army, then a Maggotkin army, then Caradron Overlords, then Realm Lords, then Teclis' army. So, and then Nagash must be able to field the following armies. Night Haunts, Staliarch Lords, Legion of Night, Legion of Blood, Null Myriad, and Nagash's army. So, again, a bunch of different armies. And then you play them in order. You get campaign points for winning, and also other like bonuses and benefits, but it does give you an example. You could just play these with different armies. Streets of Death give you additional rules for barricades, bricks and stones, and hidden defenses. Basically, when you are next to a barricade, you can barricade streets with like piles of rubble and stuff. And as sort of the movement phase, if there's no enemies within 6 of it, you can knock it down. So you can remove it from the table. It's basically just rules for destroying walls and fences. Bricks and stones, if you occupy a building, like an Azurite Ruin, if a unit comes within 6, you can huck rocks at them. And on a 5+ in the shooting phase, you can do D3 mortal wounds to them. If, however, a new unit garrisons it, you lose that ability. And then hidden defenders and narrow streets are rules for basically setting up after setup, and the narrow streets means that monsters have to walk somewhere else. So you got Praetorus in Shish. You got a new Realm Sphere magical thing. It's new realm battle rules that allow you to fight battles in this region. In the narrative section of this book, these rules are suitable for narrative and open play games, but not for match play. So I'm not going to go too deep into them because they're just for this campaign, basically. You get Nvidia and Gran and Hish, because these don't add to match play games, which is what most people are interested in. And then battle plans, Storm of Geist, these are done in order. The Across the Plains, which is the Bonereapers against the Realm Lords. Reality Soars, which is Death against the Nurgles in Garan. All That Glitters, which is Caradron Overlords versus some the Flesh Eater Courts. Fate Postponed, where you've got some Nagash Legion against the Lumineth again, and then finally Clash of Gods, you have Nagash fight Teclis, which is pretty cool. Big matchup. And then our Battletome updates. Okay, so what's in here? There's stuff for the Maggotkin, Cities of Sigmar, the Flesh Eater Courts, and the Bonereapers. I'm going to grab my Warhammer app here so that I can see what the differences are. Because the nice thing about having the AOS app means I can look at the Warscrolls and see what's changed here. And there are a few things that have changed. So the possibly my favorite name in Warhammer, the Sloppity Bilepiper, gets a new Warscroll. And it's been a while since he's had one. So what's new? Well, his core stats are the same, except his save went down by 1. He's only got a 5+ armor save now instead of a 4+. His attacks are pretty much exactly the same. Still 4 attacks, 4s and 3s -1/2 damage. He is Disgusting Resilience, 5+ Wound Shrug, Diseased Mirth. It is add 1 to the bravery of Nurgle demons that are wholly within 14. So now it used to be within 7, now it's wholly within 14. No in addition, so no -1 bravery. Jolly Gut Pipes. At the start of the combat phase, you can say that this model will play a revolting tune. It used to be reroll failed charge rolls and hit rolls of 1 for friendly Nurglings and Great Unclean Ones that are within 7. Now it's, at the start of the combat phase, play a revolting tune. If you do so, pick one of the following tunes, and the effects of that tune last until the end of that phase. A unit cannot benefit from a tune more than once per phase. If a unit is affected by 2 or more different tunes, none of those tunes will have an effect on the unit that phase. So you can't overlap them, because then the guy doesn't know how to dance. You walk with that rhythm. So the names of the songs are pretty great, and this is replacing the rest of those rules. That's the primary difference of these songs. Stabbing We Will Go is song number 1. Add 1 of the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Nurgle demon units, wholly within 14 of a friendly Sloppity Bilepiper playing this tune. So +1 attack. Early One Evening by Pustule with Seeping. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by a friendly Nurgle demon unit wholly within 14 of any friendly Sloppity Bilepipers playing this tune is a 6, it does a mortal wound. So you get exploding mortal wounds in addition to normal damage. And then My Love is a Ripe, Ripe Fart. This is so dumb. Any models within 3 of a friendly Nurgle demon unit that's wholly within 14 of a Sloppity Bilepiper playing this tune cannot finish piling moves closer to a model from that unit than they were at the start of the move. So no piling towards them, because they're just too gross. That might be the best one. Not being able to get your unit wholly engaged, so you can charge and then have them in range of that tune and not allow your opponent to pile in towards you. So that's a really powerful ability. +1 attack is cool. Exploding mortal wounds, obviously super cool for like your Nurglings and stuff like that. But that you can't charge towards me is an incredible defensive ability. And start of the combat phase, so you can do it in both players' turns and have different songs in both players' turns. So what that means is you can charge in, give your Nurglings exploding 6s for mortal wounds, and then when it's your opponent's turn, not let them pile towards you with their own chargers, which is huge. So basically you switch from offense to defense. Makes the Bottlepiper pretty powerful. And then you get your Spoilpox Scrivener. Everybody likes saying Scrivener. Let's see what we got here. Scrivener should be a good search term. There we go. So his core stats. He's got a worse save yet again. Lost a point of save. Other core stats are the same. He's got a disgusting sneeze, which is 6-inch range, D6 attack, still the same. 2's to hit now, and 4's to wound with 1 damage, so he's better at hitting you. And then Distended Maw, 2-inch range, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s now, -1, 2 damage, so better wound roll there. Resilient, 5+ shrug still, and then keep counting, I'm watching you. Used to be reroll dice rolls of 1 when making charge rolls for friendly Plague Bearers that are within 7, and reroll hit rolls of 1 for Plague Bearers within 7. So he was basically a buff for Plague Bearers. Now it's at the start of the combat phase, you can say that this model will call for 1 count. If you do so, pick a friendly Plague Bearer unit wholly within 1 of this model and pick one of the following counts to carry out. The effect of that count lasts until the end of the phase, and you cannot carry out more than 1 count per phase. So he wants them to start doing the count. Talia Blows, they get +1 attack with melee weapons. Studied Lacerations, improve the rend by 1, and then Recorded Stamina, add 1 to save rolls for target the unit carrying out this count. So that's pretty cool. You can buff with +1 account. And again, these could overlap. So you could have the Sloppity Ballpiper and the Spoilpox Scrivener overlap and give yourself +1 attack and do mortal wounds on the hit. That's pretty great. You could also do +1 attack and +1 attack. So you could just be +2 attacks if you want as well. I say the combo of 6s to hit. Is that a hit roll? Yeah, hit roll. So unmodified 6s to hit and +1 attacks from the Scrivener. You've got a pretty serious mortal wound. Now, it's only pick 1 unit here, and same with this one. Or is it everyone for this one? Nope, it's everyone for this one. Yep. So this one's everybody because everybody can hear the song. He has everybody do a single. He has a single unit do a single count. So that's pretty cool though. But it's got to be a Plague Bearer unit. So Plague Bearer units are Plague Bearers. Who else is a drone a Plague Bearer unit? Yep, drones are Plague Bearer units. So your Plague Drones can do it, Horticus can do it, Epidemius can do it, and then all your characters can do it. But basically it's your drones and your Plague Bearers that can do that. So giving your drones, I mean, your Plague Bearers only have 1 attack, which means giving them 2 attacks with exploding 6s is cool. The drones, though, have, oh geez, and they'd all get the exploding 6s. The Plague Drones would be where you'd want to do it. Because you could give them, how many dice would they get each? They'd get, Swords would get 2, Proboscis would get 4, Mouthparts would get 3, and Sting would get 2. So you'd have, per model, you'd have 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 attacks. 11 attacks hitting for fishing for 6s per model. So 33 attacks now for each of those drones, which is bananas. And then Beast and Nurgle. So how'd you guys change? I love the Beast and Nurgle miniature. I wish they made like a whole unit of them. They're so cool. They don't have the Plague Bearer world though, by the way. Beast of Nurgle. Oh, I could use the old model in here. Yuck. 8 wounds, so +1 wound. All the other core stats are the same. Clawed limbs and fanged maws get... Used to be claws and tentacles. So now it's 1-inch range, 4 attacks instead of D6, 4s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. That's way better, as opposed to 4s and 3s, no rend, flat 1. And then tentacles and slobbering tongue goes down to 1-inch range, D6 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1 damage. So they kind of reversed what the tongue used to do and the claws used to do, but everything got slightly better. And then Resilient, 5+ Moon Shrug. Acid Slime Trail. Used to be roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 of this unit immediately before they make a retreat move. This unit makes a retreat move on a 4+ take D3 mortal wounds. It's before this unit makes a retreat move, roll a dice for each unit within 3 on a 4+ D3 mortal wounds. Same thing. So when you run away, you do mortal wounds. Attention Seekers. This unit can charge in the same turn in which it ran or retreated. In addition, when this model retreats, it can pass across other models in the same manner as a model can fly. So now it flies when it retreats. That's awesome. And then Pestilent Battering Rams. It doesn't have Locust anymore. After a model from this unit finishes a charge move, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch of this model. 2+ take D3 mortal wounds. If this unit has more than 1 model, roll a 2 if mortal wounds are inflicted after each model finishes its charge move, but do not allocate the mortal wounds until after they've all finished. So that means you can't pull away from them as you're doing those mortal wounds. So if you have 3 of these guys, it's 3 2+ D3 mortal wounds, and they would all go off after each model moves, but then you allocate them afterwards. And then a new Warscroll Battalion, the Invidian Plague Host. I look at this and I kind of feel like this is like a 40k combat patrol. Like they might make this a box or something. It's 20 Plague Bearers and 2 characters. So you get they're the named ones from the campaign. Ball Piper, a Scrivener, 2 Plague Bearers, and they're unique named characters in this detachment. Abilities are Bulwark of Flesh. The first time a Plague Bearer unit from this battalion is destroyed, a new Plague Bearer unit with 10 models is added to your army. Set them up wholly within your territory, within 6 of a table edge, and more than 9 from an enemy. So you just get another unit. Actually, you get 2 more units. So you recycle twice. So actually, you pay for 20, but get 40, because they just keep coming back. And then command trait, Rude Limericks. Add 1 of the bravery characteristic of Nurgle Demon units from this battalion while they're wholly within 14 of the Sloppity Bile Piper from the same battalion, in addition to the modifiers for the Disease of Mirth. Pretty cool, but they are unique, which means you don't get to give them relics and artifacts. All right, so that was the Maggotkin stuff. Let's check out Cities of Sigmar. So this is a new city to pick for your army to be from, with a new battalion and the whole gamut, new artifacts, new everything. And it's Settlers Gain. It was a place of safety and learning for generations, but even it was not immune to the effects of Necroquake. So Settlers Gain is basically where humans and dwarves and elves are living in Hish, learning from the Realm Lords, getting all kinds of cool stuff. And so it focuses on all the light mage stuff in the Cities of Sigmar. So it's a city of learning. You choose a keyword for Cities of Sigmar army, you can choose Settlers Gain and gain the following allegiance abilities. I'm going to come back to the Warscroll Battalion because it'll make more sense after we look at the rest of its stuff. So battle traits, you must be from Hish, obviously. You can't be from somewhere else. And then you'll get Lumineth Tutors. You can choose 1 extra Settlers Gain Free Guild hero or Settlers Gain Collegiate Arcane hero to have an artifact of power in a Settlers Gain army. In addition, you can add 1 to casting rolls for Settlers of Gain Collegiate Arcane Wizards. So your human wizards, they've studied with the elves, they get +1 to cast and get an extra artifact. They are Warriors of the High Districts. So when you choose a Settlers Gain army, 1 in every 4 unit can be Realm Lords, and 1 in every 4 unit can be Stormcast Turtles. So basically, if you have 4 units, 2 are going to be Cities of Sigmar, and the other 2 can be Realm Lords and Stormcast. I might make this army. I like the idea of this army. But I'll make it with all ancient miniatures. And then command abilities, Elven Training. You can use this command ability at the start of the Battle Shock phase. If you do so, pick a friendly Settlers Gain Lumineth Realm Lords hero. Do not take Battle Shock tests in that phase for friendly Settlers Gain Free Guild or Settlers Gain Collegiate Arcane units wholly within 18 of the hero. So no Battle Shock within, basically they look at the elves and they go, you guys will protect us, right? The elves are like, yeah, okay, humans, yeah, you live like 15 minutes for us. You're like fruit flies, you'll be fine. And then your command traits for Settlers Gain Army, you can fly with personal levitation. So you could just make your Deus Arcanum, not your Deus Arcanum, your Luminarch of Hish on a battle thing fly if you want. Strategic Mastermind. In the hero phase, on a 4+ get an extra command point. And a Raging Outburst. Add 1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this general, but subtract 1 from save rolls. So you're -1 to saves, but you're +1 to hit and wound. He's just... Constant scrutiny and arduous testing have made this general violently short-tempered. The elves are driving you crazy. I feel like if you do that, it should always be a dwarf. Any dwarf living in Settlers Gain should have a Raging Outburst every now and again. Artifacts, you get 6 of them. Heartstone, when you're killed on a 4+, you're not slain, you get a wound. Sweet, and all the other wounds are negated. You get a Talisman of Dispellation. And this is Collegiate Arcane heroes only, sorry, not other ones. You've got your Talisman of Dispellation. You do not have to reduce the number of spells the bearer can attempt to cast in your hero phase if they attempt to dispel an endless spell in the same turn. So you just get a free endless spell dispel, basically. Silver-plated wand, cast an extra spell. Blade of Leaping Bronze, pick one of their melee weapons and add 2 to the attacks characteristic of that weapon. Amulet of Haste, roll a dice after the bear finishes a move, and they ran on a 2+, they can still charge later. And then Stone Spirit Armor, roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the bear. On a 6+, it's negated. In addition, each time they're affected by a spell or endless spell on a 5+, ignore the effects. And then your spell lords, the Lord of Illumination, drain magic, cast on 6, subtract 2 from the casting and dispelling and unbinding rules of wizards within 12 of the caster. But that's interesting because it's not enemy wizards, it's all wizards. So do that last. Shoot a light, cast on 6, pick a friendly unit wholly within 12 until the next hero phase, roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to them. On a 6+, it's negated. And then Illuminate, cast on 6, pick an enemy within 12 until the next hero phase, and 1 hit rolls for attacks, both missile weapons that target them, so you can basically dial them in. And then their Warscroll battalion is, I just wrote my page of my book, the Zintil War Magi. So this is a unique guy. His name's Arcobalde Lazerne. He's from the campaign. Then a Luminarch of Hysh, the Beacon of Intellect, and a Celestian Hurricanum with a Celestial Battle Mage. So you have this little guy, and then 2 of the big ridey beasts. You're a Beacon of Intellect. When using the Searing Beam of Light ability for the Luminarch of Hysh in this battalion, you can reroll the roll to determine if you suffer D3 mortal wounds. In addition, when you use the Aura of Protection ability from the Luminarch of Hysh in this battalion, add 1 to the roll to see if its wounds or mortal wounds are negated. So that's pretty cool. Let's see how that, whoops, Limonarch, no, Luminarch. No, not Lunam. Oh god, I hate this so much. Here we go. The shrug is, on a 6, it'd be on a 5. That's pretty cool. I mean, a 10-inch 5+ wound shrug, not too bad. So there's your new Settlers Gain thing, mixing up elves and stormcast and humans, and then this is the stuff you get for the other 2 factions. It's just some battalions with special characters. So there's Mortvelli's Hell Court. It's an Abhorrent Archregent, that's Gorstein and Mortvel. 1 unit Crypt Horrors, 1 unit Crypt Ghouls, and it's unique, and must have the Hollowmourne keyword. You get Religious Fervor. Do not take Battleshock tests for units in this battalion that are wholly within 12 of the Abhorrent Archregent in the same battalion. So no Battleshock. And then your command trait, the Bright Emperor. Once per battle, this general can use the Ravenous Crusader's command ability without a command point being spent. There's Horrocks Dreadlance. It's Liege Cavalos, which is Horrok Venze, and then 2 Death Riders units. And again, he's unique and must have the Staliarch Lord's keyword. They're Relentless Attackers. Each time you pick a unit from this battalion, when you use the Rally Back command ability, on a 4+, gain a Relentless Discipline. So cool, 4+, get it back, 4+ refund. And your command trait, if Horrok Venza is included in your army, he must be the first liege to receive an artifact, and it must be given the Nadir-bound Mount artifact to power. So his horsey is special cool. And that's it. It's on to the Realm Lords, which we've already done up here, which you can check out in the cards to go see the rules for that. And that's it. Broken Realms Teclis. So a cool new Cities of Sigmar. I think the city is the coolest thing in here by far. Obviously, it's just a Warscroll battalion for the other 2. The new buffs to the Bilepiper and the Scrivener are pretty neat for your Maggotkin. I think that definitely can make for some interesting combinations if you work that in there. But mostly this is an update for the Lumineth as well. So if you're a Lumineth player, and you've already got the Codex, this might be your go-to. You'd get some extra stuff for some other armies too, like a cool Cities of Sigmar army you could play. For other factions, you get a campaign. And if you specifically play Maggotkin or Cities of Sigmar, this is probably a cool book for you to check out to add to those things. But other than that, you're buying this for the background. So anyway, big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more of the GMG reviews in the future. It's not a mash. Have a good night. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below to get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.